a huge concrete bomb shelter over the entire moved temple just to protect the seat of Satan, and Hitler was obsessed with it. That's why they make movies about, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Hitler running around wanting all these artifacts. He was obsessed with it.
That is so true about Hitler and that situation. The book of Revelation has an interesting statement. It talks about, it says it mentions the city in Greece named Pergamos, or Pergamon, where the seat of Satan is, or where Satan dwells. That's actually in the book of Revelation, the prophetic book in the Bible. Now, Pergamos, Hitler, they had this incredible museum there in Berlin called the Museum or Temple of Pergamon. And he actually recreated not only the Great Gate of Babylon, but he had the great Temple of Zeus built. And I have that pictured in my book, Mysterious Monuments. So imagine he was part of this same occult system, even though he sort of double-crossed them and attempted to set up his own world empire there. Alex, there's one place, I think it's on pages 26 and 27, talk about scary. 20 years ago, a Christian group came to visit me. They had just come back from a missionary trip to the Dominican Republic, and they were frightened. And they sat in my office, and they told me something that seemed fantastic. And at first, if these people had not been reliable, I would not have believed it. They said, Tex, you must investigate a great Knights of Malta temple that has been built in just outside of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. They said it is a temple of blood sacrifice and death. Well, I said, oh, come on. They said, we believe that Christians and those who oppose the New World Order will be brought in on aircraft, jets. So they'll just be the disappeared. They will be brought in and sacrificed in this fantastic structure that was just opened up in 1992. Now, I did not believe this, and I began to investigate.
Tex, we got to take calls, but I want to hear more about this. I'm looking at the picture right now, folks, on page 26. It's in the book, Mysterious Monuments. Final segment with Tex Mars. I promise I'll get to at least 5 of your calls. Everybody holding. We're going to get to you with Tex Mars. We'll be right back after this break with Tex Mars. I'm Alex Jones. My new film, Truth Rising, is out at Infowars.com. We got a couple clips here that Aaron and Jason Berman just pointed out there in the other office. We have a CBS News clip where they admit that Oppenheimer and others hatched the A-bomb plan at the Bohemian Grove where they conduct rituals. But we've got a clip here of Oppenheimer saying, I have become death, passages out of the Bible. And then they talk about Vishnu and the god of death, and they talk about Kali, and put it all in religious terminology. This was a power trip for them, and very, very sick. See, they're into playing God. Tex, you were continuing to make a point when we went into break.
Well, talking about the pyramid mysteries of the atomic bomb and the monument being a pyramid, and Oppenheimer, you mentioned he quoted the Bible of the Hindus, actually, the Bhagavad Gita. And he actually said, and this was all planned, of course, it was a ritual, as the mushroom cloud of the first atomic bomb test
came ready
off the face of the desert, he said, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. This is a quote taken right out of the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Of course, they worship all of these false religions, and they're like one big mumbo-jumbo. To the occultist of the Illuminati.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Oppenheimer quoting this.
Let's go ahead and play the clip. We do have it now. Here he is. Here's the audio.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, now I am the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that one way.
So there he is for you. Now understand, folks, you hear it. They have to become death and then kill you to show you to do as you're told. You will accept the love of Lucifer. You will kill people in mass. The police will wear the black uniform of Saturn. We will murder you for the love of Lucifer, for the loving, sweet death of Lucifer. Isn't that right, Tex?
It absolutely is. It's so astonishing that they want to bring death to the world. You know, a Ted Turner who says, we only need 500 million people. That means, well, 6 billion must be exterminated. You mentioned the Georgia Guidestones built in Everton, Georgia. I visited those. I have pictures of them in this book. I talk about the Guidestones. There's a plaque there in 8 languages, including Babylonian, cuneiform, and hieroglyphics, and English, and it says that we must return the world to only 500 million people to keep it in a perpetual balance with nature. So this
second clip is ready.
Their plan to massacre in a great blood sacrifice. And Alex, this temple of blood, that's what I call it, in Santo Domingo that I discovered, and is in page 26, 27 of my book. In 1992, they had the great opening ceremony, and a reporter, Kenneth Freed of the Los Angeles Times reported, he says that it's a memorial, in a 688-foot tall lighthouse monument, it's called. He says, quote, this is from the LA Times, the new memorial is a gigantic, and some say grotesque, lighthouse built in the form of a horizontal cross, 10 stories high and 2.5 football fields long. Now, Alex, at the very top, the apex of this gigantic building, I mean, it's huge. It's like, 50 Walmarts, it looks like, towering. At the top is built nothing more than a Mayan temple to the sun god. Remember, they untold thousands of human victims were sacrificed to the devil, the sun god, in the ancient, at the very top, the altar of these.
Yeah, it's a supposedly Catholic temple or church, and the thing is built like an Aztec sacrifice center, just right in front of everybody. It's just amazing.
It's built as a temple of blood dedicated to the Mayan deity, the maize god, who was believed to die and resurrect each year. I have a picture of him, an stone idol of him on page 27. He had a brutal taste for bloodlust, but he would guarantee a fruitful harvest. So the Mayan temples had these human sacrifices of maybe hundreds of thousands, where they would cut out literally the beating heart of their victims. And then they would, as cannibals, eat his flesh. Now, this is so grotesque, it's unbelievable. Now, this great temple has, in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, has a great laser light beam built into the very top of it. And therefore, they can beam up a holographic image. And, the Bible warns of the image of the beast that people will be made to worship in the last days. Made me sort of think of that. But here's the thing. This building has no windows in it. This great monument, one of the persons who visited said they were only allowed to go in certain areas, but they looked down this gigantic hall that looked like it went for miles, maybe only, the 2.5 football fields long. They said what looked like to be bars, but dungeons were there.
Yeah,
now,
it's a giant crypt is what it sounds like, a giant dungeon.
It is, and it was built by the secret order of the Vatican called the Knights of Malta. They were the ones who helped bring in the Nazis into the United States under Operation Paperclip after World War II, and into Brazil and South America.
The rat line.
The rat line, that's right. So this is literally a grotesque thing. Now, they do have what look like windows. If you look at that picture on page 26, it looks like windows, but let me tell you what that is. Those are murals, painted murals of the world's flags. This represents all the nations of Earth.
So it's a big... Tex, here's the deal. I've already twisted your arm into 20 extra minutes. I got loaded phone lines, and we got about 5 minutes left. I don't want to twist your arm to the bottom of the hour, but you can make the choice. Keep going, and then take calls, or take calls now and get out of here.
Alex, we can do whatever you want to, because
Okay.
I tell you, this is the message of the hour, and we need
Okay.
to let people know there is graphic,
Yeah.
tangible proof.
Okay, then let's do
in form
this.
of an architectural colossus.
Let's do this. Let's finish up with the bizarre activities of the Knights of Malta, and then let's take these 5 phone calls. Go ahead, Tex, and we'll keep you to the bottom of the hour, but then I promise you'll be gone.
Well, this Christian group that first came to see me, they said that they talked to some of the locals who were frightened to talk to them about this, and they say that all the workers were brought in from outside the city. Most of them were peasants, and afterwards they disappeared. Their families were coming into the capital city, Santo Domingo, and saying, my brother, my father are missing. And so they must have taken all the laborers, and after they built this great thing, they killed them. So that tells you a little bit, but talking about those who helped to build a new world.